if you're the Golden State Warriors and if you're a fan of Golden State Warriors, you still don't hit the panic button, but you do hit the concern button. The Golden State Warriors at home were essentially blown out by the Oklahoma City Thunder by a final score of 123-95, and they dropped to 12-7 on the season. To put that into perspective, 2015-16 season, the Warriors went 73-9. So already, here we are still in November, and the Warriors are just 2 losses away from what they achieved in that historic season. The Thunder improved to 11-6, and this is after they started 0-4. And I got something to say to a lot of you Westbrook haters in this video. So, I mean, like I said, I would be more concerned if Curry and Green were playing and they were losing games like this, but their roster is somewhat, it's depleted. You know, they don't have 2 of their starters in, 2 of their important starters. And what this loss also shows, this little streak, it also emphasizes to me Klay Thompson's limitations as a player. He had 27 points tonight, as did Kevin Durant, 27 points and 14 rebounds for Kevin Durant. But Klay Thompson is not the type of guy, you know, and when teams are winning, people, you know, just say sometimes outlandish shit because they just get caught up in the moment. People are sheep. But he's not the type of guy that you can say, hey, Klay, we're down 20 points, man. I'm giving you the ball, this coach. We're giving you the ball. You know, bring us back in this game. We got confidence in you. Hey, bring us back in the game. He can't do that on a consistent basis. You know, he's not Michael Jordan. He's not Kobe Bryant. He's not Shaquille O'Neal. He's not Karl Malone. He's not Charles Barkley. All right? He's not one of these guys, not Dominique Wilkins. He can't go one-on-one and just obliterate the defense. You know, he can't, you know, utilize his trick moves. He can't do shit like that. He's a system scorer. He's a great shooter. He's a great defensive player, but he's within the system. You know what I'm saying? He's a shooter. This also goes to show, you know, some of these games aren't all that important in the grand scheme of things, but they have symbolic meaning when the Thunder are able to come into Golden State and beat them like they did. You know, basically, the Warriors to me are still favored to win a title, but it's not going to be as easy as it had been the last couple of seasons. The league as a whole has gotten better. We can't keep saying anymore the East is weak. You know, the Eastern Conference is weak. A lot of teams in the Eastern Conference have arrived. Interestingly, it happens as LeBron jumps ship and goes to the West. But, and there's some teams in the West that surprisingly are not exactly cellar dwellers. I'm not saying they're great teams, but they're not exactly just a team you look on the calendar and you're like, yeah, that's a win. This is a win. That's a win, you know. So I think the Warriors will be all right, but the days of them winning 67, 73, possibly even 60 are over. They might, right now, I would, if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I'm hoping we win 57 games this year. I think that's going to be the type of season they're going to have, all right? And as you go through the championship grind, that's why people always marvel at what the Bulls were able to do in the 90s, winning 3 consecutive championships 2 times in a row, because the grind of it gets harder. It as a team, you find it harder to have that drive and play with that intensity on a consistent level to be able to reach a championship. Sometimes you can get kind of complacent during the regular season. I remember, what was it, in 97 compared to 96? The Bulls always, in the third quarter, if I remember something correctly, the Bulls always had these disappointing third quarters where they would inexplicably let the team get back into the game. They did it every fucking third quarter. And it always tended to, lead to Jordan or sometimes even Pippen helping out. It always led to those two having to bail the Bulls out in the fourth quarter. And the Bulls had to utilize their defense to get back in the game. But they always had these third quarter letdowns in the 96, 97 season. I remember that vividly. In 98, this was a league-wide issue. The Bulls' offense struggled. We went from averaging 105 points to 96, 72 win season to 103 points per game in 97, all the way down to only 96 points per game in 98. As a matter of fact, even though Michael Jordan's scoring average went down from 30.4 to 29.6 to 28.7, the year he averaged 28.7, he actually carried more of an offensive burden than he did the prior 2 years. The prior 2 years, he averaged about 28% of the team's offense. In 98, as a 34, 35-year-old man, he averaged 30% of the team's offense. So Jordan and Pippen, to an extent, put their stamp on the last championship that the Bulls ever won. But back to this game, Russell Westbrook collected his first triple-double of the season, 11 points, I believe 11 rebounds, and 13 assists, I believe that's what it was. And, he stat padded a little bit, especially on the rebounding end. All right. He did. But when LeBron James does it, somehow Colin Cowherd doesn't see it. He spins it, the fucking fanboy that he is. It's different whenever LeBron James does something. But, Russell Westbrook, whenever he does anything, you fucking Westbrook haters love to hate on this man. I don't understand it. It's like I said before, it's like some of you dudes, I don't understand it. Like, I get it that some of it is, some of you guys are Durant fans, and you can't stand to see Westbrook have any success against Durant. Whenever Westbrook fails, it seems to validate Durant. I know that some of the fan base that hates him. Some of them are LeBron James fans, and But anyway, Westbrook had his 105th career triple-double, now 2 behind Jason Kidd all-time historically. And this year he's not chasing them. If this was the last couple of seasons, Westbrook would have already had 5 or 6 triple-doubles already. He's not chasing them. He's letting things come naturally. He chased the rebounds a little bit, but you know what? When you're beating down a team by 20 points or 15 points, you can afford to stat chase a little bit. All right? It's not like, he was jacking up shots and forcing shit. He was 5 of 15 from the field, so he realized his offense wasn't really there. And I like this version of Russell Westbrook. He's never going to be a shooter. All right? He knows he's not a shooter. He's a fucking baller. All right? That's why I fucking love him. He's a motherfucking baller. With the mentality of an alpha. And I love that shit. All right? But unlike Donkey Green, he doesn't bully people. He just lets his game speak for himself. And I like Russell Westbrook. Is he a perfect player? Fuck no. But he recognizes his strengths and utilizes them and knows what his weaknesses are. But some of you guys, you hate him so much, it doesn't fucking matter. You know, Steve Adams had 20 points and I think 12 rebounds, I think I remember seeing. Paul George, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. So the Thunder are now equal. Well, actually, I take that back. The Thunder now, percentage-wise, have a better record than the Golden State Warriors. Who would have ever thought that? Who would have ever thought that to be the case, man? The Warriors' next opponent will be Portland. And this might be a season, man, where, like I said, things aren't just going to fall in place for the Golden State Warriors, man. It kind of reminds me of how things used to be in the playoffs, where not playoffs, excuse me, in the NBA, where in the 1970s, where you had your greatest period of parity, it often depended upon what team was playing the best going into the postseason and who was the healthiest. And, if this was April instead of November, I would be worried if I were a Warrior fan. I'd be worried then. But not now. It's November. And you have two of you guys, not playing. But if this was late April or mid-April, fuck yeah, I'd be worried. If we were, 44 and 35 or something like that, fuck yeah, I'd be worried. But no,